guys, Laura here. I'm back for another reading vlog. It's currently at the date that I'm starting this filming. It is March 26th. I am still self-quarantining myself. I still am not going to work every single day. I'm teaching from home. For those that are coming in the middle of this, I am a DEO school teacher and I teach theater. And we have been teaching from home. This is the first full week that we've been teaching from home. It's been an experience, I'll say that, and you guys will see subtle updates about it as this process goes on. It's definitely an interesting experience, definitely a skill set that I didn't know that I needed. But I am trying to tackle some larger books on my TBR because I do have the time to devote to it. I'm also still trying to be active and going for walks. So the book that I'm actually listening to two audiobooks. I'm listening to Devouring Gray and I'm listening to Ghost of the Shadow Market. Um, but I'm doing Devouring Gray because I've already listened to that book before and it's a little bit easier on my focusing when I'm, like doing schoolwork. But I am also reading Keeper of the Lost Cities Flashback, which is the seventh book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. I just picked this up. I picked it up early this morning, right after I finished Queen of Air and Darkness. I can't really talk too much about it because I don't want to give you guys spoilers, but I will say that it's a direct continuation from book 6. There was something big that happened at the end, and I'm really curious to see the effects of that. I know that this is a very, very scary time, and I hope that my content is at least giving you something to watch. That's why I'm trying to make these videos a little bit longer than I normally do, and trying to just update you guys on what I'm doing, including reading, and kind of just trying to. Basically, this week I've really tried to like set up a new normal for myself, one that I wasn't necessarily planning on setting up. We're also really unsure about any trips. Like I know I'm still planning on going to BEA. I'm still planning on going to BookCon. That's now in July. I'm still planning on going to Florida. That's in July, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm really hopeful that it is, um, but it's not. This is not a situation we've ever been in, so I'm just trying to like focus on the positive things, and that's like reading and just doing stuff that makes me happy. And for that's it's making videos and reading, so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. I hope you guys like the content. But yeah, so I'm about like 35 pages into this book. I would love to read a little bit more. I'm also going to a late night yoga class virtually, of course. But yeah, so that's kind of the intro to this video. But I'll come back when I'm about 50 pages in and give you guys my brief thoughts about it. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Here, it's about 7:30, and I am gonna go to my yoga class in a little bit. But I just wanted to come in and say that I did get up to page 60 in Keeper of the Lost Cities Flashback. And I'm on page chapter 4. This chapter doesn't have titles, but that's okay. I actually like when books have chapter like names. I like that a lot. I guess it's being like a Harry Potter fan. Like I've always enjoyed that, and I see so few books that do it. I know Cassandra Clare does it. Very, very few authors do it, and I do tend to like it. Rick Riordan has such funny titles, but I really am liking this book. I think that is something I really love about Shannon Messenger. She always really like is always good at really, really expanding her world, but then she also takes like a topic and she kind of turns it on its head. Normally, when you read books about what middle grade or even YA, fighting and violence is always like a very something that just happens and it's a very, very common occurrence. But I like how she's really talking about it because she's seeing violence as maybe not something these characters want to do, and that's like elven people are very, very like protective people. They don't really like violence. So you're kind of coming at it from Sophie, who's a human, who's an elf that lived in the human world, and then you're kind of seeing her in this world. And it's just interesting. I'm just loving how Shannon Messenger takes topics and really like discusses them in like a really interesting way. I've always said that I really love her discussion of grief and how it kind of like does something to them when they feel grief. I really love that, and I'm really curious to see where this book goes. I'm curious to see why the book is called Flashback. I'm curious. I don't know. I know that people in that I've read, and I followed Peruse Project, I followed Mackie. I know they said that this wasn't their favorite book in the series, but it was important. So I'm really curious to see what happens next. I really read this book fast, like I really do. But I would love to get to page 200 tonight. But I'm gonna go read for a little bit more, and then I'm gonna get ready for my yoga class, and I'll check in with you guys when It's like my relaxing yoga class. It's which is nice. It's called like restorative, which I really love that yoga class, and I never get to take it because I'm always at work. But now that I'm home, I can kind of take a yoga class whenever I want. So yeah, that's really exciting. But I'm gonna go read a little bit more. I'm gonna go take my yoga class, and then I'll come back and let you guys know my thoughts about Keeper of the Lost Cities flashback. Bye guys. Right here, I'm back. It is March 27th. I survived my first week of teaching from home, which was interesting. I think that every week will get a little bit easier. I hope. We are still scheduled to go back to work April 20th, which is about a month away, a little bit less than a month. We will see. We will see. I don't know. The world is kind of a scary place right now, so I'm really unsure. And I have to commute to the city, so not sure how I feel about that. But enough about that. I did actually finish a book. I finished The Devouring Gray by Christina Lynn Herman, which was a reread for me, and I really liked re-listening to it because I kind of knew the story anyway, so I was kind of able to follow but also do what I had to do for work. I finished that. I gave that 4 stars. I'm gonna have to look into getting Deck of Omens. I may send it to myself, and it may take me like a little while to get here. But I'm about to pick up Keeper of the Lost Cities flashback. Right now I'm on page 80. And I left off at kind of like a critical moment. There was something that happened that I don't really know it was like a mini cliffhanger and I don't know what's going to happen next. So I want to really keep reading. And I'm just kind of going to do that tonight. I'm going to read for a bit. I really hope to tackle this book this weekend and then figure out what my reads for April are going to be. My April TBR is going to look a lot different than I originally planned, but that's okay. And then, yeah, so I'm going to go do that, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Right here, I'm checking back in. I'm just going to say that I did get up to page, 100 in Keeper of the Lost Cities Exiles. I will say this, and I don't know if it's because I bought these books from Actually, no, I didn't buy this book. I got this book from my friend. But these bindings on these books are atrocious. Every book I read, this book, it must have came from Book Outlet. It must have. But, it's already broken, and I haven't even cracked the spine on this yet. This has happened to a lot of my Harry Potter books back in the day because the bindings are so many pages. But I literally look at this. Look at this. This is bad. This is awful. If I really cared about books the way some people would be so upset. But at the end of the day, I give these to the kids. But I'm really liking it. It definitely took an interesting turn with Wiley in this book that I really wasn't expecting. And I've said this before, I'm not the biggest fan of battles in books because I always get a little bit lost. But I'm really excited to see what happened next. I'm already on page 106 in this book, and I'm going to go take a really, really quick shower. I'm also listening to Goes to the Shadow Market. Boy, did that story take a dark twist. I was not expecting that from Matthew Fairchild. I'll say that. I'm going to talk more about that in my Shadowhunters Readathon vlog, which I'll probably do when I'm done with that chapter. I'll go and I'll do a little clip for that. But did that take a dark turn? So I'm going to go take a quick shower and then come back and maybe read a bunch more of this tonight. I also have a bunch of BookTube videos to watch, which is going to be my plan. But yeah, that's my plan right now, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, here I'm back. It's about 8:50, and I did read a little bit more in Keeper of the Lost Cities flashback. I'm on page 160. Guys, I'm really liking how this series goes. I'm really enjoying it. I love these characters. I love them so much. We're seeing a lot more of Dex in this book, and Dex is one of my favorite characters. That's not a spoiler, but he was very, very prevalent in the first couple books in the series, and then he kind of faded away in the middle couple of books, but I like that he's back. But that's the thing with such a big cast of characters. You see some characters and then you don't see them all. But they're in a very precarious situation in this book. I'm really curious why the book is called Flashback. I'm curious to see if we're going to experience a flashback. That's my thought, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'm also curious, I'm that the position that they're in because they're really reevaluating everything, and they're kind of not only trying to figure out what Neverseen is doing, but they're also kind of trying to figure out how they can survive and how they can win, and they're realizing what position they're in, and they don't really like it. And I talked a little bit earlier in this video about Sophie's fear of violence and how she doesn't like to fight, and she's kind of coming to the position where maybe she has to do something she's not that comfortable with. She's also in a very, very precarious situation that I'm really enjoying. She's also going to be trapped with a character for a couple of days, and I'm curious to see how that's going to go. There are 2 very, very big ships in this book. I am Team 1, and this series has been pushing Team 2 for a very, very long time. I'm curious to see if it's going to swap. But I'm really enjoying it. I would love to, I do really read this book fast. I blame it because the print half the time is just really, really, really big, but it's a series that I'm really thoroughly enjoying. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. I'm back. It's 9:38. And I did get up to page 190 in Keeper of Velocity's flashback. Really liking this book. I'm really liking the turn this book has taken, and it kind of reminds me of I would say book 6 in Harry Potter, when they kind of had to do like a similar like their adventuring was a little bit different in book 6 because they really had to dive into Voldemort's past, and that was very, very different than like any of the other previous books and the future books. But like this book is very, very different, and I'm really liking it. I'm loving the cast of characters that Shannon Messenger has created. I'm loving that. I'm also really liking how Sophie's in a very unique position in this book that she hasn't been in any other book. Shannon Messenger just keeps on expanding and expanding the world. I really am loving this book, like loving it. I am so sad that this book binding is so terrible. This is definitely going to be a book one day that I'm probably just going to get all of them and keep them on my shelves, or I might just get the audiobooks because I feel like I want to reread this series over and over and over again. But oh my god, it's such a fun read, like so engaging, so captivating, and it's also another book series that like has such a wide cast of characters. Shannon Messenger has always, for me, I've sometimes struggled because she doesn't always focus on the characters I really like, but the characters that I like are getting a little bit more focused in this book, which I am liking. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm definitely going to keep reading. I don't like have anything else to do today, so I'm just going to keep reading, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'll comment when I get up to maybe page 200 if anything changes. They just interrupted, they just gave us like a new thing that we're going to learn about, and we've met some new characters. And they're kind of expanding the people Sophie's going to be with again, which I'm really liking. So back to reading I go. Bye guys. It's about 10:30, and I'm actually gonna put my book down for the evening, and I'm gonna watch a couple of my booktube videos that I just want to watch straight because I have a couple of hours. Not like a couple hours, but like I just want to like I've normally been watching all my booktube, like all my YouTube videos and as background noise, but then I never get around to the TV shows that I want to watch. Because I have a lot of downtime, I'm going to try to prioritize those TV shows that have commercials. So I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. But did get up to page 218 in this, and I'm really, really liking it. I'm definitely going to read a lot more tomorrow and maybe make a bigger dent in it. My goal is to try to go for a bike ride tomorrow as well. I have been doing walks every day, but I haven't gone for like an actual bike ride since like the summer, and this is like the perfect time. I'm not going to do my longer route because there's a park there, and I don't really feel comfortable going to parks right now. But I am really, really liking this book. I did get to page 218. Again, the setup is a lot different from the other books in the series. Some elements have vanished, and we're introduced some new elements, which I'm really liking. The cast of characters that we're focusing on this book has changed a little bit. Like, it's definitely a smaller cast of characters than I'm used to, at least right now, but I'm only 200 pages in, and this book does go to like page 800. So I am going to give this book a rest, and I'm going to watch my booktube videos, and I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys. Right here, I'm back. It is 9:03 in the morning on March 28th, which is actually a Saturday. I am definitely going to plan on going for a walk at some point today. I did start listening to Ghost of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare and a bunch of authors. It's like the tie-in novels right before Chain of Gold, or at least the last published book before Chain of Gold came out. And I'm really, really liking that. I also did read up to page 250 in Keeper Velocity's flashback. This book is so interesting. It's definitely a different structure than the other books that we're reading. Sophie's in kind of like a very interesting situation. Not a situation she's really been in any of the other books, and I'm really enjoying that. I'm thinking she's really focusing on her and her abilities, and what can accomplish, like what can occur in the series. It's funny because normally I really a lot of times compare this book series to the Harry Potter series, but actually Harry Potter ended at book 7, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen in future books. But I'm really, really liking it. It's definitely slower, and our cast of characters is very, very small in this half of the book because some characters are not in this part and some characters are in another. I don't want to spoil it, but they can't be in this part of the book. So I'm really liking it. I'm just curious, like, what is going to be the end game of it? Like, what is the point of this happening? Also, you have a big villain that's really knocked them on their butts for this part of the book. Like, they're really all in terrible shape. So I am going to go film or do some Bookstagram stuff because I want to try to stay up to date on that. I'm going to go to a virtual yoga class, and then I'm just going to read. I'm also going to catch up on all the YouTube videos that I have to watch, which is one more, which is Haley reading to her adorable puppy, Charlie. And then I'm probably going to catch up on with some TV shows that I've been neglecting. So that's my plan of attack for today. But yeah, I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, guys. I'm back. It's about 12 o'clock. I did go to my virtual yoga class, and now I'm reading. I did get up to page 288 in Keeper of Velocity's flashback, which means I'm on chapter 17. I am really liking the dynamics between the characters in this book. I think it's definitely a smaller cast of characters. It reminds me a little bit of like the first couple books in the series, because this book series is so big. It has a very, very big cast of characters, like a Throne of Glass series or a Shadowhunter series. But it's definitely focusing on a smaller amount of characters just because of the situation Sophie's in. I'm liking that we got to see some people we haven't seen in a while, and some kind of the mysteries are kind of opening. We have a lot of like moving pieces in this book too, which I'm really, really liking. I think I have a theory about why the book is called Flashback, and I'll be curious to see if at the end if I'm proven correctly. I also am watching Katie Keene, which has Lucy Hale in it. That's the show I'm focusing on. I kind of go through all of my CW shows and then I move on to Hulu. But yeah, I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I get up to page like 300 and see my thoughts. But right now, really enjoying it. I have a very firm ship in this series that I like, and there's another ship that's kind of winning right now. But I'm curious to see if at the end which ship's going to win or which ship's going to be the focus, because Janet Messenger has really been pushing one ship this whole time, and I'm curious to see if that's the ship that's going to be the end game of the series, which is personally not my personal favorite. But if you've been watching these videos for any length of time, my ship is never the favorite. I could count on one hand the amount of time my ship has sailed. It's very, very few times. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to go back to reading and hopefully make some serious progress in this book. I do want to work out today, but it is raining, so I'm trying to see if the rain's going to stop or if I'm going to have to work out inside. I'm also listening to Ghost of the Shadow Market, which is the tales, it's like the collection of short stories that lead up to Chain of Gold. So I want to at least listen to one more story today. That's my goal. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a bunch of pre-planning for my YouTube channel and a bunch of other little things. But that's my plan of attack right now. I'm going to get back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. I did do a quick workout. I listened to about 20 minutes of Ghost of the Shadow Market, Every Exquisite Thing, which follows Anna Lightwood, Christopher Lightwood, and a couple of the other islets way back. I think where Chain of Gold's going to be set. I really don't know who Chain of Gold follows. I know that it's the children of like Tessa and Will. I know it's like that bunch of people, but it's definitely like I'm really liking those characters. So I'm curious if all the stories follow them or if we're gonna get some in the present with like Kit and Ty. I'm curious if we're gonna get a couple with like maybe Clary and Simon, because it is through time, but I know it's leading up to that series. So I'm going to keep listening. Hopefully tomorrow we get a little bit of nicer weather and I can go for a walk, but it is a little bit rainy now, and that's kind of what I'm up to workout-wise. But I did get up to chapter 20 in Keeper of Velocity's flashback. I'm also got up to page about 350, 342 technically. But this book is very different from the other books in the series. Normally, Sophie is very much like a take charge type of person. She's always doing things, and it's very much her story. It's very different for her, this book, and I don't want to give too much away, but she's in a very, very different situation, and so is Fitz in this book. So kind of seeing it through her eyes, and I've never really read about a hero like this before in this type of situation, and I'm really enjoying it. It's dealing with a lot of like internal struggles with Sophie, and I really enjoy that, but you also have her kind of figuring out how to tackle the Neverseen in the situation she's in. So I'm really liking it. I'm going to keep reading. I said this before, I tend to read these books very, very fast, but I'm also missing some of the characters, like I'm missing Dex and Bana and all of them, so I'm curious to see if this is going to be for the whole book, or if we're going to transition to what I'm expecting in previous books, the dynamics and the structure. But we will see. But I'm going to go read for a bit, watch a little bit more Katie Keene. I think I'm on episode 5 now. I've fallen a little bit farther behind, but I have a lot of time now, so I'm trying to catch up. So I will talk to you when I get up to page maybe like 400, I would say. So talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Sorry, here I'm back. It's about 3:19 and I did decide to do something a little bit unexpected. I've had a Switch for about a year, 2 years at this point, and I've used it so seldomly just because I haven't been home a lot. But because of coronavirus and all the other things and being home a lot, I decided to download the new game Animal Crossing, and I bought it like through my Switch system. I'm gonna see how I like it. I've never been a big fan of video games. I do have a lot, so I'm just gonna try to like play a little bit more. It's gonna take 31 minutes to download my data for it, so I'm gonna still be reading, but I'm going to probably plug in my controller because I think I'm a little bit battery low. But I just wanted to share that I am also still reading and still watching. I did get up to page 360, and we're dealing with a lot of flashbacks featuring a certain character, which is not what I thought the book was gonna be, but I am liking it. We have expanded our character pool a little bit, and I'm really liking the dynamics between the characters. I'm liking how they're really focusing. This really does remind me of book 6 of Harry Potter, like it does. That book also dealt with like a lot of memories. This book's dealing with a lot of memories. And I'm curious to see what the outcome is. Still, Sophie and Fitz are in a very, very precarious position that I'm really enjoying. So I'm going to go charge my controller, hopefully play Animal Crossing for a little bit. I have no idea what it's about, but I will give you guys my updates and just share my thoughts. But I am still really liking it. Yeah, so that's kind of my plan of attack for the evening, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. So here I'm back. I played about 25 minutes of Animal Crossing. It's actually super fun. It's definitely not like a high stakes game, but it's one that I'll probably play like a little bit every single day just to do something different. I am gonna go back to watching Katie Keene, and I'm on to get page to 368 a flashback. So I'm gonna keep reading and keep watching Katie Keene and have some dinner, and that's kind of my plans for today. But I'll update you guys when I make a bit more progress on flashback. Got to kind of an important part about one of the characters' memories that we're starting to uncover. So that's my plan. See you guys in a bit. It's about 6 o'clock, and I did get up to page 400 in Keeper of the Lost Cities flashback. I'm definitely still really intrigued, and the characters have moved on from their like quarantine phase, I guess I'll say. They're just like it's like a different it was just like an interesting way. I'm curious to see where the book goes next. Like there's a lot of moving pieces in this book, but none of them are like clear. Like there's just like predictions by the characters. Guys, Larry here. I'm back. It's about 6 o'clock, and I did get up to page 400 in Keeper of the Lost Cities Exile. Flashback. Like Exile was way book ago. But Exile was the title of book 2. But I'm really liking it. The characters have been in one position for most of the book, and it's kind of changing. So I'm curious to see what impact that's going to have on the other characters, and I'm really curious to just see the end game in this book. Like it's still like not totally clear. Normally in the other books they have very like specific like things they're doing, and they have one thing that they're waiting for. But I'm just curious like what else is going to happen in this book. It's definitely a slower paced book, I'll say that. I always compare the series to Harry Potter, but it's very, very reminiscent to me of book 6 of Harry Potter, when like they were really like exploring Voldemort's past and exploring like their past and trying to build up their mission. So I'm really liking that part of it. It's just not a very, very action heavy story right now. And the characters are kind of down on their luck. This is like a very, very low part for most of the characters, which is fine. I think it's actually good because you kind of see your characters develop. I just miss my side characters. I miss Deck. I miss Bana. They're like, I love the side characters in this book a lot, so I just kind of miss them a little bit. I also really like Sophie's adopted family, so we're not seeing them as much. But I am curious to see what happens next. So I'm going to keep reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. It's Larry here. It's about 8:30, and I did end up getting up to page 450 in Keeper of the Lost Cities flashback. Guys, I'm really liking how this book has been progressing. I think it's definitely a slower paced book. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of things like that planning that's happening, and a lot of like internal stuff happening, but it's not a lot of battle-y stuff. There was some battling, but not a lot, and I think that that's kind of what I prefer, especially in books like this. I think that this book needs to happen, and the characters are all kind of like planning or working to get ready for that point. But the one thing I wish this series did a little bit more is I wish we got other characters' point of views, because I love Sophie as a narrator, but there's so many characters in this book series that I really love, and I just wish we also were in their heads a little bit, because Sophie can be a little bit of an isolated character and she has one set point. So that's why I like when she's with the characters that I enjoy more, because then I at least get to see them. But I do like that Dex does have a little. Dex is probably one of my favorite characters in this whole series, and I like that he's getting a little bit more attention in this book series. I really like that. So they're also talking a lot about weapons and fighting and ways to beat the Neverseen, and they're going about it in a bunch of different ways, which in this book is a little bit different because Neverseen is always so far ahead of them, and I think that they're trying to want to figure out how to get ahead of them. But it's a really, really interesting book. I don't want to say too much because this is the 7th book in a series. But if you do want spoiler reviews, let me know and I'll maybe do like a mashup review when I get to book 8, which is going to be hopefully next month. But I'm going to go back to reading. I would love to get up to page 500 or 600 tonight. Again, I read this book super fast and it's only 8:30, and I really have no plans, as you guys know. So back to reading I go. Bye. Here, I'm checking back in. I'm checking back a little bit later. I'm kind of a little bit, I don't know what I want to do first. I have a lot of stuff I have to do today, a lot of like bookish errands. Last year I didn't do really any errands. I mostly just read, but I do want to get a bunch of errands done. I also at the end of March, so I have to do a lot of my wrap-up videos and prep stuff and film a bunch. That's kind of my plans for today, and then I really do want to finish Keeper of the Lost City's Legacy. I also did pick my TBR for the month of April, which is a very, very different TBR than what I originally planned, but that's the nature of the beast with this quarantine that's affecting us all. So I'm going to go finish all my errands that I have to do. I'm going to film a few videos, probably at least my 2 wrap-ups and my TBR, and then I'm going to go to read, and when I get to that point, I'll check in with you guys. Bye. Hi guys, Laura here. I'm back. It's about 4 o'clock. I did wind up doing all of my errands, and I wound up listening to a little bit more of Ghost of the Shadow Market. But I am going to dive back into Flashback by Keeper of the Lost City series book, and I'm on page 502. I really hope to finish this book tonight. I am going to go watch the final scene in the Supergirl episode that I watched because I thought it was really, really well crafted. So I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to dive into my Hulu shows, and I am so happy. I finally have caught up on all of my CW shows, which I don't think has ever happened, which just means that I've not been having time to do anything else. But I'm going to dive into this, and when I get up to page 550, I will check in with you guys. Bye. Here, it's almost 8 o'clock, and I did read get to page 550 in Keeper of the Lost City's Flashback. This book is definitely a slower paced book, but I like how it's really focusing on prepping these characters to be prepared for whatever is coming for them, may it be battle or emotionally. There are still a couple of little things that I'm waiting for to happen in this book, but I'm the pacing's a little bit slow, and the character dynamics are super different from the past couple books in the series, but I'm still really enjoying it. I doubt I'm going to finish this today. This is probably going to be the book that I'm going to finish the month with, but I'm going to keep reading. I'm also watching The Bold Type, which has more. I'm watching stuff on Hulu now. I finished all of my CW shows. The only problem with that website is their commercial breaks are super small. They're like only like 10 seconds, which is really good when you're binge watching stuff, but I like to have my commercial breaks to actually read. So I am going to read as much as I can tonight, and then tomorrow I will probably read a little bit more. I doubt I'm going to read Blood Arrow this month, which was the Time Warp YA book club book, but I might. It just depends on the timing. But I'll talk to you guys when I get page 600. Bye, guys. Laura here, I'm back. It's about 9:30, and I did wind up getting up to page about 590 in Keeper of the Lost City's Flashback. The one thing that I have not wanted to happen in this book, and it has to do with a relationship, has occurred, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about it. I don't know. We'll see. I've said this before in a lot of reading vlogs. I always root for the underdog ship, and I always get my heart broken. My ship never sails, so I've kind of emotionally prepared for it a little bit more. But I'm just not a fan of the ship, so I'll be curious to see how I feel, where the story goes. My God, this book is so dead. This book is horrible. But I am liking everything else of the story. There's been a twist with the Alicorn that we met in book 2, which I've been waiting to see what happens, so I'm curious about that. They left me kind of on a cliffhanger with that, which is of course what they do in middle grade novels when kissing is involved. So I am going to go read a little bit more and probably go to bed probably like 10:30 tonight. I don't know. We'll see how teaching goes this week. We'll see how the world goes this week. But I'm probably going to wind up wrapping up this reading vlog tonight before I head to bed. And then tomorrow I'll start a new reading vlog. But talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Back in. It's about 9:43 and I did get up to page 600 in flashback. I'm really intrigued about this book. Like, characters are now working together with characters that they don't like. I like that. There's some drama with the alicorn that I'm really enjoying. This is such a big world and such a wide cast of characters, and this book has really been structured so differently than any of the other books. Even like Never Seen was a little bit different of a structure, but this book is a really different structure, and I'm liking it in some ways and not liking it in other ways. But now we're getting some story plot, like plot stuff that I'm really liking. We had some elements with Oliver, which is Fitz's brother. Fitz and Sophie, they're having some drama, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. I really don't want to stop reading, but I do have to go to bed at some point. So I'm going to read as much as I can, and then I'm going to wrap up this reading vlog. I'll probably head to bed around like 11 like I normally do, and then probably hopefully read tomorrow when I'm not physically teaching. But yeah, I'm going to go read for a little bit, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Larry here. I'm back. I'm actually here to wrap up this reading vlog. It actually went exactly the time I wanted it to, but I did want to say that I spent most of this reading vlog, or all this reading vlog, reading Keeper of the Lost Cities flashback. I'm just got up to page 616. This book has been reading very, very fast. I just haven't been reading it enough. So that's not enough time to read. So, but I'm definitely going to devote myself to this and would really like to finish this before the end of the month, which is in 2 days. I think I'm definitely able to do it. I have about 200 pages left, but I just wanted to wrap up this reading vlog, and I will be back with another reading vlog right when I finish this one. So you guys are just going to take this quarantine journey with me. I hope you guys are staying safe, getting some reading done, and I'll talk to you guys for my next reading vlog. Bye.